Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Say hi to me if you're on. It is live day. It is Thursdays, beautiful Thursdays. I look forward to Thursdays. I'm excited to come on and connect with you. Let me find myself really fast, and we're doing something different today. I'm going live on Instagram as well for my first time on Instagram. So, hello to my Instagram followers. If you are on there, hello, Emily. So, hello, Sonia. So, I haven't done them both at the same time. So, today is something new, but it is Thursday. We're going live today because that's what we do on Thursday. So, welcome, everybody. Good morning. And my dog's going to groan because that's what happens. So, I wanted to come on today and talk about inner child healing. Emily is on today, and she's actually been talking about this all week, which has inspired me to come on and talk about it as well, too. So I want to start there today. Make sure my stuff, yep, we're still all good. Okay. Anyway, so if you're coming on, say hi to me. Hello, everybody. I'm excited. So I wanted to come on today and share my story, share why I do what I do, why I'm here, what it's all about. Emily's like, yes. Yeah, she has been a big inspiration for me. So thanks for being on here, Emily. But I wanted to come on today because there's a reason that I'm here. There's a reason that I do what I do. I don't just show up because I'm like, okay, here, we'll just try that. I have been inspired along the way. I've been inspired by many people, including Emily, who's on Instagram, and many other people along my way who have got me and helped me get to where I am today. And so I wanted to come on and talk about that story, share that with you, because I think, Emily, that's great. Thanks for coming on. So, but I think that it's important that we all share our story. And I think that it's important that we all let everybody know, or help everybody around us, because as we share our story, we help others. And we don't think that we do, but we really do. And it makes a difference. So today I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many versions of my story. Sometimes we get caught up in our own story. But we all have a story to tell. And I am here in front of all of you because, yes, I am a healer. Yes, I have gone a long ways. Yes, I have done some different things. But I have done it all because I wanted to be the best person that I absolutely could for each and every one of you. So my story, starts out many, many years ago. We were raised in a very religious family. We had lots of ups and downs, and we were in that religious family. My personality, my perception of that was I felt like I was trapped a lot. Like I couldn't do what I wanted to do because of the religious beliefs. And I've realized now, many years later, I stayed there because I wanted to please my parents, because that's what we all want to do. But I also lost kind of track of myself. And while I was growing up, for those of you, if you've read my book, I had experiences while I was growing up, because I am a medium as well. And I had experiences while I was growing up that caused me to think that I was different, or that I was somehow bad, or because of the religious beliefs that I was connecting with, demons or things that weren't very upcoming, and, they weren't these vibrant spirits. And I've realized now, many years later, that is not true. I didn't understand that I was a medium and that I could connect to people on the other side, and that it came naturally for me. It just happened. And I had experiences growing up that scared the holy living daylights out of me. And because I didn't understand, not because any of it was bad, and I know that now, but it's because I've done the work all these years later. But fast forward a few years, my senior year in high school, our family was never very close, and my dad was gone a lot, and we had a lot of things happen. But my brother, who was about 17 months older than I was, we had always been very close. He committed suicide that year. And it was about 2 weeks before graduation. And that was pretty much a life-changing moment for all of us in our family. The religious beliefs of, oh my gosh, you're going to hell. I can't tell you how many people came up to us and said, I'm so sorry that your brother, your son is going to hell because, he's now done this awful thing that's not accepted or loved by God. And, you guys, that must be so terrible for you. So not only were we dealing with the loss and the grief of a son and my brother who had just committed suicide, but we've got the judgments of people around us telling us, that. And my dad was always in the church. He was always in the bishopric, or he was doing things. We were raised LDS. So there was a lot of things that went on in there. And so that was a tough place to be. I moved out shortly after that and moved on with life. I couldn't stay in the house. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be around anybody in there. But it left a mark on me that I didn't even realize that would take 30 years to totally unfold and bring that out. At the time, I didn't understand that. At the time, I didn't see that. But years later, I have, and I've realized, oh my gosh, what a mark that left on our family. Our family has never recovered from that. My parents have never recovered from that. It's something that we weren't allowed to really talk about. If we would say something around the dinner table at Christmas, it was like everything got real hush hush, and mom's off in her room because she can't talk about it. She's having a heaving, which was really sad to me, because now that I realize all these years later, wants to be talked about. They want to be remembered, not because he committed suicide, but we had a life together with him. We had things that happened with him. The thing that it did for me, and it took me many years to get there and many years to understand it, is he was trying to connect with me all along the way. But because of what I had been through and because of my hurt, I shut it down and I didn't really allow it to come in. And many years later, I met some beautiful people in my world who introduced me to healing, who introduced me to not only healing, but to mediumship, to all these other avenues of healing, all these different ways of showing up. And I realized very quickly that my whole life, I had been planning for this moment in my life. I realized that my whole life, I had been seeing these things, feeling these things, knowing these things. I was psychic. I understood in that moment what my plan was. And I had already made a pact with myself that if I could help just one person, I remember just a week or so after my brother passed away, thinking if I could help one person, just one person, not help them through these issues so that they didn't take their own lives, or so they didn't feel like life was lost, it would make it all worth it for me. And I look back all these years later, I was thinking the other night, it's been almost 30 years now since that happened. So you can do the math. I have looked back and I have helped many people since then. And not only that, what I have gained from it, and how I have grown as a person, because of what I've been through and because of where I've been, and because of the hurts and the sadness and the sorrows that we have been through, and recovering from losing a loved one, and especially recovering from losing a loved one to suicide. I went through periods of depression. I went through periods of anxiety. I went through periods of sadness. I look back on my life and think, for one, I don't know how the hell my husband stayed with me all these years, because you would think he would have gotten sick of it after a while, but he didn't. But I look at how I've grown. Hello, Amy. Hello, Claudia. And hello, Sonia. I look at how I've grown over the years because of what we've been through. And I made that pact with myself that if I could just help one person, it would make it all worth it. The other thing that I did was I promised myself that I would never go to the grave a grumpy ass old lady who was angry at God and angry at this world, because I didn't want to hurt my kids that way. And that is one of my big ways of showing up in the world. This is why I show up in the world. This is why I do what I do, because I don't want to ever go to the grave a grumpy ass old lady. And I can sit here in front of you today that tell you I'm not a grumpy ass old lady. It's not that I don't have days or moments or minutes where things don't always work out well, but I have had to go through a whole lot of shit to unravel all of the feelings and the beliefs and all of the things that I had gathered, all of the emotions that I had held on to, all of the things that I had held on to all these years. I'm telling you, I've done my inner healing work, and I do it every day because, for one, you cannot help people if you have not healed yourself. You just cannot do it. You have got to dig down to the nitty gritty, deep, deep, deep seated stuff that hurts like nobody's business, and get that shit out of there, because I can't come to you as the wounded soul. I need to come to you as a healed soul and pull you up, not be down on your level trying to pull us both out of the muck. And I look back on my life today, and I have done a lot of work. Do I still have more to do? Yep. It still unfolds every day. It still keeps coming. It doesn't, doing inner child healing, uncovering those belief systems, doing all of this stuff isn't a one and done type of thing. It never has been, never will be. It's not like that. It's a constant thing that we keep working at each and every day. Keep bringing ourselves out. Every time I get a new goal, every time I decide I want to do something new in my business, I've realized that I have to go and do some more work in order to get there, because we cannot get to a new level if we choose to stay where we are today. And, a lot of the belief systems, I'm feeling like I need to talk about that. A lot of those belief systems came from being in such a strict religious confinement, is what it felt like to me. I have since walked completely away from my religion, and I don't practice any of the religious beliefs anymore. But the thing that I do now is that I have an unwavering, I know that the universe has my back. You can call the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I know that I'm supported and loved by that, and I will continue to be in that space. And for me, I don't feel that any of us need, me included, but I'm not saying religious is bad. For me, it's not where I want to be. It's not where I need to be. That's not something that I need in my life, because I have all the support and love that I need. So that was a lot of the beliefs and stuff I had to uncover. I went through a period of time after leaving the church where I was angry. I was really, really angry. I was mad at life. I was mad at people. I was mad at myself, is what I was mad at, because I stayed there for so long and I didn't step out and find my own way and stop following and start leading. And I had to realize that that was just part of my process. That was just part of where I was at. That's just part of what I needed to go through in order to step into this different lifestyle that I live now. And so, but that all comes with healing work. That all comes with unfolding the bullshit, the stories that we tell ourselves that we can't, and it's too hard, and oh my gosh, a lot of my stuff has been wrapped around judgment because I'm in the church, and the story that I just told you about, being judged for, we're this religious family, and my brother commits suicide, that's considered like evil of all evils. I also got pregnant at 19. After I left, I went on this wild streak. It was crazy. We were doing stuff. I'm surprised I'm still here talking to you today, but I had a mission, but we went on this wild streak and I ended up getting pregnant. I ended up being single and alone. I remember when I called the man that was involved, and he told me he didn't want me. He didn't want to get married. I was on my own. I mean, that was another heartbreaking thing for me. That was a lot to go through and deal with, but I wasn't wanted. I was good enough to be in bed with, but it wasn't good enough to keep. And that's something that I told myself for a lot of years, that I wasn't enough. And then going into my marriage relationship as broken, I look back now and I think, oh my gosh, I went into a new relationship as a broken, wounded soul, thinking that I had to take, and not that my husband is any, I mean, he's the gem, but my thoughts were, who would even want me after all of that? And because I'd allowed myself to go to that place, I allowed myself to be in that space. And I look back on that now and think, oh my gosh, those are the lies that we tell ourselves. Those are the beliefs and the conditions that we put on ourselves for the life that we live. Does anybody, I would love to have your questions on Do you have any questions on inner healing, inner child healing? Because this work that I'm talking to you about is inner child healing. This is unfolding the belief systems, getting to the root of them, where they come from, why they're there. I've been working a lot recently on my money beliefs. I'm teaching a money course. Do that. That will unfold all sorts of money issues for you. Start thinking that you're going to teach that kind of stuff. And yay, Amy, just started reading last night. This is I'm enough. So I see it every day. Absolutely. Good for you. Because that's the kind of stuff we need to be reminded of. We need to remind ourselves. And for me, it's digging into the, why do I think I'm not enough? I went back to growing up, and I remember when I was 12 thinking, and it happened before that too, but I remember specifically being 12 and being in this church setting and hearing everything that we were supposed to do and everything that we should be doing and how we should be doing it and what we're doing. And I'm like, you know what? I'll never make it to the celestial kingdom. I don't care what anybody says, in the religion we believed in anyway, that's a whole other, but I remember thinking, I will never make it there. I might as well not even try, because that's ridiculous. That is way too much. And so I was already telling myself at 12 that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't enough. And it was all the religious beliefs to me that I was taught were all about working hard and never being enough, and hope in the end that you live this life and then somehow magically make it to be with God. And I'm like, what a shitty thing to me. That just felt so horrible. And I think about that now and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's not true. That is totally not true for me. But it's because I went back and I uncovered that and I dug it out and I allowed myself to feel those feelings and realize that I hadn't been honest with myself, that those were not my truths. That is not who I am. So yeah, Amy, I'm glad you ordered your ring. I've done that too. I have jewelry that says I'm not enough. I have jewelry there's one that says, I can't even remember. I should have brought my bracelet up here. I had it when I worked, when I did photography, because before I decided that I needed to help people in this area, I was an event photographer for many years. I started off doing everything, but I ended up, when I quit, I was doing weddings and family photography, and I did very well at it. I love working with people. But I knew that it was time for me to move on. And I tried to do both of them for a while, and that was just too much. I needed to dedicate my time to one or the other. And so I let photography go. But I used to have to tell myself every day, you know what? You're here for a reason. You got yourself here for a reason. So get your ass out there and do your best. Like, that's all I can do. And I am enough. I'm good enough. Been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing. And so, it's telling ourselves these things, and it's also doing our work and uncovering why we feel the way that we feel, why we do the things that we do, because that is what is important. And for me, I told you I went back and I looked through that, and you don't have to go back and uncover every little detail. You don't have to go back and uncover every little detail for yourself. You don't have to go back and figure it. I have people, we talk a lot about, with Emily that was on here earlier, we talk a lot about, hi, Mandy. We talk a lot about capital T traumas and lowercase t traumas. For some people, they do have these big stories. They've dealt with abuse and alcoholism and all of these type of things, and it's blocking them. They bring those things into their adult life and wonder why they can't get past it. But for some of us, we have lowercase traumas. We did have the two-parent home. I had the two-parent home. I thought for a long time my story didn't really matter because nobody beat me up. I wasn't getting my ass kicked every day. I wasn't, there was maybe some emotional neglect is what I would call it in our home. My mom has never been one that's been emotionally loving and connecting, and my inner child needed that. That's what she needed. But I didn't have rape. I didn't have all these other things. And sometimes we want to downplay our story and say nothing's wrong. that I don't know why I can't get my shit together. We all have a story. We all have things, whether you had huge traumas or not, we all have things in our life that hold us up. I have a comment. I'm trying to figure out how to expand my subconscious mind to where God wanted it to be. It's hard. This is coming back about, this is releasing belief systems of you're not worthy and you're not good enough. There's so much of that in there. There's nothing to me now, I look at God, he's not a judgmental God. The God that I know is loving and he wants me to do whatever I came here to do, whatever I choose to do. So, what is it that you want to do? Because this is to Timberwolf. I don't know who that is, but what is it that you want to do? Where do you want to be? And what's stopping you from doing that? Because those are the real questions we need to ask ourselves. I've been teaching this. We had our first class last night. Those of you who've been watching, I've started teaching an abundance class. And the first thing I said to all of them in that course is, welcome to talking about money. But money really has nothing to do with money, but it has everything to do with money. And we talked about that because our belief systems are what keep us where we are. They keep us staying small. They keep us in this area. So, it's opening up to those new ideas and those new ways of being so that we do have an opportunity. We all need to do our work. We all need to open up. We all need to find people who can help us. I love doing the energy healing work that I do. I just got an email from someone today telling me, oh my gosh, our session the other day, I couldn't believe it. I was exhausted when I left you, but I went to sleep and I woke up the next day feeling fantastic about myself. And that is what I'm talking about. That is what I love to hear. And I hear this all the time. I hear people tell me, you know what, that was so, I had to go home and I had to think about it. A lot of people have to process it because it's a lot. But then after we get this integration period, after the healing is done, after the work has been done in that integration period, and then we can wake up and go, oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter. I feel so much relief. I worked with someone yesterday who's been carrying around so much guilt and shame over the life that she's lived and her not being good enough. And I sat with her yesterday. I watched her cry. This is what I love about my job, is because when tears come, this is when I know I've got to the nitty gritty of what we're healing today. And I watched the tears come and I watched them fall. And I watched her for once in her life not fight down and shove down all that shame and all that sadness and all that sorrow. And she walked out of here with a smile on her face after the tears stopped. And it was great. She, because there's so much heaviness that we all carry and we don't even know it. You need to tap into our bodies. Where do we hurt? Where do we feel? Where do you ache all the time? Because this is a good indication that you're carrying heavy emotions and heavy beliefs that need to go. I have people who tell me, they don't need healing. I'm like, oh, honey, we all need healing. Whether you are the rape victim or the alcoholic or whatever it is, or you lived the suburban lifestyle, but mom and dad were never there and you took care of yourself. Somewhere in that, we all have things that we need to work through. We all have perceptions that we've told ourselves. We all have beliefs that we've told ourselves. I'll share another one that's real quick. I told you my mom is she's not emotionally attached to anything. She disconnects from everybody. She stays in her own shell. We spent a lot of time. My perception of us growing up was her, if we didn't do what she wanted us to do as we got into our teenage years, if we didn't go to church, she wouldn't talk to us for like 2 weeks. And looking back on it now, we did it on purpose. We would just not go because that way we just didn't have to deal with her. She would just go to her room. She'd pout. She'd throw a fit. She wouldn't talk to us. She would disconnect from us. She wouldn't cook. She wouldn't do anything. She would just totally walk away from it because she didn't know how to deal with it. And as we got to be teenagers, we were like, oh, well, that works great to our advantage because now we can do what we want. But it still hurts. It's still, and she still does it today. There's nothing that has changed there. What has changed is my perception about it, because I've went and done the healing work for many years. I told my mom, she never even really celebrated my birthday. She doesn't do anything like that. She's never said to me, geez, I'm so glad that you're a part of my life, which is what we all want. but I've realized that I need to give that to myself. And I've done the healing work on that so that I know and understand that I am worthy, that I am enough. And it's not her reaction to me is not where my self-worth lies. And so if you can unfold those stories, if you can release these hardships and these feelings inside of you and show up differently in your adult world, what you do with it now is your choice. And that's the last thing I want to hit on. You get to choose. You can choose to stay in your story. You can choose to be the victim in your world. You can choose to stay in this spot of thinking that I can't and I won't and I'll never be enough. And no matter what I do, nobody sees me for who I am. Or you can choose to step in, to do the hard work, to show up for yourself, to show up as the beautiful soul that you are each and every day. Because our worth is not based on even what our parents think of us. Our parents are not perfect. It doesn't excuse what happens. It just means they didn't know any better. I wasn't the perfect parent growing up. I wish I could say that I was. I wasn't the perfect parent raising my kids, is what I meant to say. I wish I could say that I was, but I'm not. Even my kids have perceptions of things that I said or things that I did that jive differently with them. Now, it doesn't mean that I didn't make the best decision that I thought for them at the time, but however they perceive it, that's some emotional stuff that they need to release as well. But we all need to take responsibility for ourselves. We all need to move into this place of, you know what, I can and I will. And I nothing's going to stop me, because just like with me, I will not go to the grave of grumpy ass old lady ever. I will not be in that space. I will not allow myself to go to that space. I will not allow myself to hide. And you can do the same thing. It's time to step out of your shell. And I call every single one of you to the table. It's time for all of us to wake up. It's time for all of us to step out of our shells and to turn into blossom. This morning I was thinking about the butterflies and how they go through their life. We all need, it's time to blossom into our beautiful butterflies. And healing comes in layers. You know, we heal what we're ready to heal when we're ready to heal it. And that's how things work out. And I've realized that I've been doing my own healing work. I've been working with people for over 15 years now. I've worked with thousands of people on inner child healing. I've worked with thousands of people on getting themselves out of the hole, working through depression, working through not enough, never being enough. You know, even money issues is what we're doing now. It's like we've worked with people on money issues. And it's been literally, I have saved that one person. I can say that to you honestly now, looking at all of you as my witness. I have done what I promised that I would do, and I will continue to do more, because this is where my passion lies. This is what I know I need to be doing, and I will do it until I go to my grave, because this is where my true mission and my power lies. So I encourage you all to do your work. I encourage you all to step forward. I encourage you all to get real with yourself and take responsibility for yourself. I would love to help each and every one of you. If this is something, if you're interested, if you are ready to get ready, if you are ready to dig into your shit, I am your biggest cheerleader. I will help you every step of the way. I will hold your hand. I will do whatever you need me to do, as long as you are willing to step forward and look at your life in a different way, because that's literally what it takes. It takes for us to go, okay, you know what? I am not going to get to where I'm going. If you keep doing what you're doing today, you will always stay in this place. If you keep moving just like you're doing now, you will always be right here. I promise you that. You have to make a change. You have to do something different. So I'm calling you all in. I'd love to help you. I would love to work with you. If not, there's many other avenues. I can see my friend Jackie on here. She does hypnosis. I don't know if she's still with me. I saw her, she joined. There's hypnosis that you can do. Energy healing to me rocks. I've done hypnosis as well. It rocks. You know, there's lots of different avenues for healing. But if you feel compelled today, if you feel inspired to do it, I would encourage you to come and join me. So you can find me on my website at www.ginastrole.com. I encourage you, you're worth it. It's time to spend some money and some time on you so that you can find your purpose and you can find where you want to be. And you can maybe come on here someday and go, you know what? I've done my hard work. I've done what I promised that I would do. And now I'm here and I'm ready to help you. So I love you all. I thank you for listening. Thank you, Lisa, for coming on. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Anything that I can answer for you? Because I would love to connect with you. Would love to hear what you have to say. You know, it's time to stop playing small. This has been my thing this year, is it is time to stop playing small. It's time to start stretching our wings. And if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And I know that to be true. People think, oh, when they've done the work and it's okay, like we're at a good place. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And I've realized that I've stretched myself this year. I will continue. I have so many goals for this year, and I will continue to stretch myself and do the healing work that it takes. So does anybody have any questions on how or anything, any comments? I'd love to hear your comments. Yes, you are, Mandy, getting stronger and stronger. Yes, you are. Mandy has stepped up to the plate. We could give her all a big hand. I'm seeing lots of people up here. Yes, Lisa, I love listening to you. I've been doing so much work, and every time I watch it, you make me feel like, yes, that's exactly what I should be doing. Yes, it is exactly what you should be doing. I saw Claudia that's on here earlier too. I've worked with Claudia. She's in my my course right now, my abundance course. So she's stretching her wings. Yeah. Oh yes, and we love Mandy. We all love Mandy. So we can give everybody a big hand on here. So are there any other comments, questions? I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this today, you would like more of this, I would love to see your thumbs up. I'd love to see your hearts. I'd love to see it in the comments area. Let me know what you thought, because we can do more of this stuff. I love sharing what I've learned. Yep, Claudia's given big. Love you too, girl. So, you know, I enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy being part of your life. And I really enjoy coming on and doing lives. I know that sounds weird to some people. So, but I really enjoy coming on and doing live, sharing my story with you, because I know as I share, we all help each other out. We all do the work that we need to do. So share your story, share your love. I'd love to see your love, your comments. Awesome, Mandy, we will do more. Thank you for commenting. If you have any questions, you can message me. If you'd like more information, go to my website. You can find more information about what I do. Not only do I do one-on-one healing sessions, I also have classes. I have self-guided online classes that you can sign up and take. Hey, Jana. There are meditations on there. If you're interested in starting your healing process just by clearing out your energy fields every day and opening up all my meditations will do that for you. They'll probably be out this weekend. I hope. We'll cross my fingers. I've just finished up all the 7 chakras, meditations for each one of the chakras. So you've got all 7 of the chakras. They'll all be available in a group together. So those will be coming out hopefully pretty soon. Get those on my website so they're ready to purchase, and you can just go. If you haven't been on my website yet, it's super cool. You can download the Kajabi app on your phone and just log in through your phone, and you can pull up any of the meditations, anything that you've purchased through there. It'll show you everything that you need to do. So my website is set up really awesome. It's getting there. It's been a work in progress. It's not easy. We had a ton of issues last month, and I apologize if some of you had a hard time. We had link issues. We had, oh my gosh, it was like one after the other after the other. It just kept rolling. But I think it's actually humming pretty good right now. If you have problems, please let me know. Don't just let it go undone. Message me and let me know. So I appreciate you all being here. I would love to connect with each and every one of you. There's so many ways that you can work with me. If you want to just start out with meditation, start there and use those. If that jives with you, then go into one of the courses and do something different. You're ready to take the huge leap, come and join me and let's do one-on-one private sessions, because that is where you will get your biggest bang for your buck. An hour and a half with me is like it's explosive, like literally. So I love to see you all. You're very welcome, Amy. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for all being here. And I will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye for now.